On this presentation, I will share some art vocabulary and terms. I will explain them in a way that will hopefully help you when you have to discuss and analyze artworks. First, let's look at characteristics. What are characteristics? According to dictionary.com, characteristics are features or qualities belonging typically to a person, a place, or a thing, and serving to identify them. In this case, we are identifying qualities belonging typically to art movements and artworks. So let's look at some examples of characteristics in an artwork versus the art movement. When you select an artwork that you would like to discuss, you will first look at the picture and see if you can identify some characteristics. Before you start to analyze the characteristics, look at what are the characteristics of that particular movement. In this case, we are looking at Surrealism. So let's look at characteristics of the art movement Surrealism. It started as a literary movement, spread to painting, sculpture, and film. It's illogical or irrational. In those days, people were painting in a more classical style, and they were more interested in realism. So the surrealists were seeking something else. They wanted to portray and go against the movement of that time, go against the norm. So they wanted to portray the illogical, the irrational, and seek hidden truths. They accept the unconscious and the interpretations of dreams. They enjoyed painting fantasy, dream worlds, visions, or myths that were key to this movement. They reproduced their dreams or sought states of trance. Many deny the idea of morality. They go against social protocols and conventions of the time because they felt that it restricted the freedom that would lead to truth. So now when we understand what this art movement was about, what the key features of this art movement was, we can go back and look at the painting and identify which of these characteristics are evident in this artwork. When we read a little bit about the reason why Dali created this artwork, we see that it was a dream he had. So we could say, first of all, this is an oil painting based on the dream world. It's a fantastical or dreamlike or a surreal representation of time in a very realistic way. It's bizarre and irrational, displaying in the way it displays the time or watches. It accepts the unconscious and the interpretation of dreams. So that is similar to what we see or characteristics that we can interpret from the art movement. It questions ideas about morality, maybe even mortality. And it goes against social protocols and conventions of the time because they felt that it restricted the freedom that would lead to the truth. So I feel like this characteristic is one of the key characteristics of this particular artwork because Dali is going against the constraints of what we perceive as time. And he is making us question what is real and what is not. Thank you for listening, and I hope this will help you when you identify the characteristics of your artwork that you selected.